Hey everyone, so this is Dr. Connie, and today I wanted to talk to you about detox and elimination. So, detox is a fatty word these days, but it's important for those of us who are living with autoimmunity because we need to really consider the perpetuating triggers that continue to drive our immune system. But before we talk about detoxification, we must talk about why detox is so important. So, we live in a very toxic world, you guys. The obvious toxins are in the air we breathe every day, foods that we eat, and the stress of our modern lives where we are constantly connected to our electronic devices. Aside from that, we need to pay attention to toxic relationships, toxic emotions, and toxic thoughts that play a key role in our bodies to cause disruptions in our health. We know that stress can cause chronic disease. It does this by primarily affecting our gut lining, making it more permeable to the outside world. And the toxic foods that are full of additives, chemicals, hormones, and sometimes antibiotics passed down from our livestock. It's really a no win situation unless we can defend ourselves to create homeostasis within. That's ultimately what we're after. Truth is that we're collectively getting weaker by virtue of our living conditions today. Staying active requires you to make a significant effort to do so. Everything we do is moving towards convenience, ease, and less effort. And that's really what our primitive brain, our nature, really prefers. And this creates a sedentary life where the norm is not to move. When we don't move, though, our bodies become full of stagnant energy that fails to move the toxins and accumulated waste products out of our bodies. But because we're designed to move, we don't move at all. If we don't move at all, functions of the body suffer to create stagnation. Just as a pool of water that does not move, it just sits, right? It rots over time, and there's tons of bacteria and yeast and anything else that can grow in that stagnant pool of water. Our bodies work the same way. So, slowly perpetuating inflammation from low grade toxicity that enters through our mucous membrane, primarily through our nasal cavity, our skin, and our gut lining, creates an increased activity of our immune system. So, let's kind of switch gears a little bit and talk a little bit about the immune system. So, immune system is designed to protect and fend off toxins, bacteria, and viruses. It's triggered, then it completely is supposed to resolve by completely bringing the body back to homeostasis. So, infective agents, we get viruses and flu or what have you. We get an infection, and our body brings up heat by having fever and all kinds of aches and pains. And then it's supposed to come back down to that level of baseline homeostasis. But when the toxins keep entering our system and the immune system begins to fail by leaving debris of our own cellular uh, metabolic waste there, it's not able to properly clean up everything. Then the adaptive immune system kicks in to clean that out of our body. And this perpetuation and this problem is that now it's confusing our own cells, causing autoimmunity with the toxins. So our bodies are not able to differentiate from external toxins with our own cells because this failure to create complete resolution of infective agents by our primary immune response. Now we have what's called the adaptive immune response, and that goes on for a while. And then as it weakens and it perpetuates, then the system breaks down to really confuse it with our own cells and the toxins from the outside. And so it's when it starts to turn against our own DNA, then that's what we call the autoimmunity. So, logically, we want to decrease inflammation, seal the leaky gut, and improve the biotransformation to create a proper what's called the intermediary for elimination, and lastly, enhance our liver and kidney function. Those are two main detox organs to enhance its function. So when I talk about biotransformation, you guys, is in order for our bodies to properly eliminate toxins out of our bodies, we have to convert what's very highly volatile compounds into something more neutral in order for it to be processed by our kidneys and our liver. And many autoimmune patients complain of foggy brain, pain, and fatigue for this reason, because these are all signs and symptoms of metabolic insufficiency. So, metabolism and detoxification ultimately goes hand in hand. Okay. Hey, Arvina, Yasmin. um, anyway, so let's now talk about the metabolism. Metabolism is essential for life. It's the process of biotransformation in the body to produce energy for all body functions, including our muscles, brain, heart, and all the organs, really. And in order for the metabolism to be efficient and effective, it needs fuel in the way of food, but it needs proper composition of specific amino acids, which we get from proteins, and fatty acids, vitamins, minerals, and electrolytes. But due to the permeability in our gut, immune dysregulation, and metabolic insufficiency, and improper detoxification pathways, we're not able to properly function. As you can see, this can pose a threat to our health, longevity, and wellness in just about all systems in our body. So, with the medical system wanting to treat us with medications, it further creates a biochemical imbalance, insufficient metabolism, and of course, detoxification. For one thing, it's not what Mother Nature intended to have us or have an influx of medications to fix, because we all know it doesn't fix. Medications don't fix or heal. We know that meds have an irreversible consequence to our natural physiology that can be devastating, not in short term, but long term. So that's what we're after when we're looking at our lives with autoimmunity. We want to look at the long term health of our bodies and the systems. And while medications might temporarily fix or decrease the symptoms, it's important to know that it's got long, irreversible consequences that shuts on and off our physiology in just so way to get us further away from homeostasis. This is an important factor to remember. So let's get into talking about the concept of detoxification. So, the concept of detoxification was super attractive to me over a decade ago. I knew I myself had metabolic and detox insufficiencies, as my kidneys were affected by my autoimmune condition. And the only solution I was given at the time were toxic meds, which was a necessary evil. But I knew ultimately I needed to help my body regenerate and improve its own capability to heal itself. So I needed a way to enhance metabolism and detoxification. And detoxification in the body really, at the end of the day, requires sufficient amounts of nutrients. If you understood how our body systems work, detoxification is nothing other than having enough nutrients as cofactors to drive the biochemistry forward. It's a lot of biochemical reactions in the body to produce energy. And any toxins must be first, as I mentioned, any toxins become very volatile. So in order for it to be removed out of our bodies, it has to be neutralized. And this also requires nutrients, like I mentioned. But what happens with our autoimmune patients? Well, we don't have enough nutrients. We're malnourished and we become subject to lots of toxins infiltrating our body, lots of bacteria. So we have a lot of issues with dysbiosis. That means we've got an imbalance of the good and the bad bacteria. Specifically, we look to our gut, but also a lot of people end up having some low grade inflammation. We're always fighting off some bug. Case in point, I had a consult last week, amazing lupus patient. Got diagnosed probably about 3 years ago. And since then, she's had a white count so high. She's been seeing by a hematologist and infectious disease doctor, but they can't really pinpoint what's going on other than she's got some inflammation going on with high levels of white blood count. So that tells me that there's an infective agent just going on in her body, and she's getting seen by a clinical trial in NIH with all the specialists on her medical team, but she's not getting the help that she needs. In fact, metabolically, she's losing the battle because her sugar levels are going up because of high levels of corticosteroids. And as we were consulting through the telemedicine, she was just scratching herself all over because it was causing so much irritation to her overall system. At that point, it's not really helpful for us to say it's one thing that matters. We have to look at the overall picture to make sure we address all the systems. And for me, in my clinical experience, as well as for myself, the best way to do that was enhancing your detoxification and also enhancing your metabolism. Anyway, I went off a little tangent. But as I said, we don't have enough nutrients because we have gut permeability, medication toxicity that tends to drive underlying. And what happens with us is we have a medication for something, for example, let's say corticosteroids, and then we need, I don't know, glucophage to address our blood sugar control. And then oftentimes we end up with what? Hypertension, high cholesterol. These are all acute phase reactants. And as the inflammation goes up, our body becomes metabolically insufficient. So what do the doctors do? Keep giving us medication over medication, everything to, keep everything under control. But remember what I said with the medications, it has irreversible consequences in our body. So understanding this, I'm always about at the end of the day, as the root cause, what can I address in the most effective way possible to help my body drive more energetically forward, so that it can be healthy to provide me with energy and brain sustenance to think clearly and improve my intelligence or retain my intelligence enough so that I can function in day to day. That's really what we all want, right? And remember, if our metabolism goes down, what happens is we gain weight and we have lots of inflammation. And a lot of the times, and I've gained weight before due to inflammatory reactions in my body. When my kidneys failed, I gained probably 15 pounds within a week and a half because of the edema, the inflammation, and increasing toxicity, not enough detoxification, and insufficient nutrients coming to me to support me was the real issue that I was struggling with. All that to say, that's why I found that detoxification is an important thing to consider in your overall holistic healing to your autoimmunity. Okay, so our body system works on the whole level, not just in parts. That's really important for us to remember. And if detoxification and metabolism is insufficient, then our hormones, it'll start to affect our immune system, hormones, blood pressure, liver, kidneys, and even our musculoskeletal, but also our nervous system. And that's why most of us complain of brain fog, fatigue, and pain. These are three hallmarks of autoimmunity. And of course, there's a host of other symptoms that we talk about, but these are the main issues. And as a yogi, I practice yoga, and many of my colleagues were detoxing. Okay, a lot of yogis go into Ayurvedic medicine, and they were doing a lot of detoxing through fasting, just juicing with limited amounts of foods, primarily vegetables, and restricting their food intake. But this poses so many problems for those of us who have autoimmunity because many of us struggle with nutrient deficiency, gut permeability, and various digestive issues and immunological dysregulation. I can tell you when I started my process of research in my detoxification in the late, you know, it, 2000, it was 2008 through 2010 ish. That's when I was toying with the whole detoxification. And while everybody else that I was putting on the detox protocol were getting better, I was explosive in my digestion. I could not tolerate the vegetables, even the good vegetables. And that's because I was so dysbiotic. I had irritable bowel syndrome, so much so that biochemically I was not in a good place to be able to take all these things. So, these days, a lot of patients come to me about keto diets, intermittent fasting, there's a plant based diets, as well as AIP, autoimmune protocol, which are all based on paleo principles. While some of them help, we have to look at the overall picture and know exactly where you are because it's highly individual. Some ketogenic diets are really well for certain autoimmune patients, while in others, it was creating so much disruptions in their health, so much so that they were getting sicker on these diets. So we really need to address these variables when we're looking at the overall autoimmune dysfunctions. So, anyway, for me, it made sense to start fresh by detoxing and getting clear on which foods you're truly sensitive to. Because I did the whole sensitivity testing, spent tons of money, spending money on doing blood draws to figure out what I was sensitive to. And those of you who are seeing various options in holistic care or functional medicine, and you guys are asked to do some food sensitivity testing, the cheapest and the most effective way for you to do that is to get on an elimination diet. Elimination diet alone, and it's not an extended amount of time. Elimination diet can be dangerous if it's not supervised because a lot of my autoimmune patients are scared to eat. I was one of them. And because the whole point to the elimination diet is a short term, we want to get to a point where our body can tolerate a wide range of fruits and vegetables, primarily in the all spectrum of the rainbows. But I couldn't do that for a long time because of the dysbiosis that I had, that I wasn't tolerating the vegetables, the roughage and the fiber. I wouldn't do really well in them. So if that's you, and if you're starting out, what makes more sense to me is getting clear on the detox pathways. Get rid of all the inflammatory foods in your diet, and that's done by the elimination diet. And it's super helpful when we're able to take supplements and medical foods that allow our guts to heal. So I'm all about taking massive action to help our overall bodies in ways to help it on the whole, not just doing parts and pieces and hoping for the best. Because I feel like when we're working with the diet alone, it's impossible to eat 100% clean and to really replenish with your body with all the things that it needs to really be healing your body at the cellular level. And as I said, because we know that we've got gut permeability issues as autoimmune patients, that we want to make sure that we're getting all the nourishments that we need in the way of micronutrients in amino acids, fatty acids, and vitamins, as well as minerals and electrolytes to help our bodies to clear the detox pathways. And that means, remember what I said about neutralizing the toxins, the volatile toxins, to get it out of your body. And you're going to need some nutritional support. And sometimes starting with the foods is not the best way. It's one way to heal, but providing our body with ample amount of nutrients so that our metabolism and detoxification are supported to drive the toxins out is the ultimate goal. And like I said, food alone is not all of it. We must also detox from our thoughts, our emotions, which require us to look at the toxic relationships and certain perpetuating factors in your life, because we know that stress can perpetuate your leaky gut. So even if you're eating a clean diet, and I have many patients who do that, there's some underlying beliefs and there's perpetuating factors in their lives. Even if their relationships are amazing, there's the underlying factors that haunts you, and usually it's based in past, and there's a lot of psychosomatic stress that perpetuates itself in the way of our thoughts and creating the emotions that's become so hard ingrained as habits that unless we're looking at those things in conjunction with the foods and exercising and meditating, all of the above, it's hard to really fix the overall whole beings that we are, right? Then we've got to allow for proper movements to enhance the metabolism and detoxification, as our muscles are necessary to move the toxins out of our body. The contraction and relaxation that helps with the vascularization, like our veins and arteries that pump the heart back to the heart. That's necessary. And how that's done and enhanced is by the proper contraction and relaxation of our muscles. And we can only do that when we're moving. And so often, my autoimmune patients are not moving because they're achy. But simple exercise like yoga done properly with therapeutic guidance is ultimate key to moving and enhancing your metabolism and detoxification for overall health. I hope this is all coming together for you. And this multifaceted approach to healing is what will be the game changer and has been the game changer for many of our autoimmune patients. You guys, it's important to remember healing is a journey, right? And as an autoimmune patient, we must stay vigilant and take massive action to help our immune system establish homeostasis. Once it does, you'll experience less flares, have more control over your autoimmunity, and know exactly what to do when things get off balance. So, initially, with anybody who has autoimmunity, it's years before we actually get diagnosed. But even after diagnoses, initially it's up and down, ebbs and flows, so peak and valley so much. And I experienced that too. But over time, that fluctuation gets smaller and smaller as your body starts to heal. And the whole point to this is to get to that homeostasis of having that balance first and foremost. And then we can work progressively to attain a better baseline. And so you have less flares, and then healing now becomes a part of your solution, living it every single day. And that's ultimately a place that you need to get to. So you can do this alone for sure. I totally have many patients who's read many things, but it can get very confusing super fast. Why? Because so many experts, even in the functional medicine field, so many people start different ways. And there's being so many smart people saying different things that are completely contradictory to one another. So much so that if you don't really understand the overall picture, it can get really overwhelming super fast. And what do we do when we're overwhelmed? We receive a lot of information, but we stop applying it in our lives, and you're stuck just confused. And that's not a very good place to be, right? So you can do this alone for sure, like I said, but we'll experience less hardship and confusion when you're supported wholeheartedly from start to finish. So did you know that we offer complete lifestyle solution that helps you to disrupt your thinking to actually prime your body to heal once and for all? So, from healing mindset, stress management, diet, supplements, detox, metabolism, movement, meditation, accountability, and support, we've got you covered. Here's the thing though, what I can promise you is from the Eastern philosophies of medicine and Western conventional medicine, we need both. It's like yin to the yang. I've explored all areas out of my personal need because not one discipline provided me with the answers. Functional medicine isn't all of it either. I wanted to embrace more of the movement and more meditation. I needed more guidance. But you know what I really needed was a correct mindset to know I can and will do this. And sometimes we need inspiration, we need motivation. And sometimes, not sometimes, motivation and inspiration, I learned the hard way. It's something we have to generate from within. So I'm a big believer that healing is an inside job. So no matter how good I am as a practitioner, I can't help you move the ball forward unless you're on board, right? I'm a 20-year veteran in healing for my body from autoimmunity. I'm confident that I can save you time, I can save you money and frustration of peace piecemealing all the confusing information out there to try to apply it in your lives. You must simplify to amplify, right? Take massive action and disrupt your thinking to not only survive your condition, but thrive. Use autoimmunity as a catalyst to reach higher potential for your life, health, and everything else in between because it's absolutely possible. And I want to provide you with a free consult, right? You can email us at info@lupusrebel.com to schedule your free consult today to see if you're the right fit for our program. And really, I have, if that's too much for you and if you want to get to know me, I highly recommend that you do because my thing is, I always needed to resonate with whoever I'm working with. And if you don't resonate with me, it's hard for me to help you, right? And so I created this private Facebook group in the midst of this pandemic when it first hit. I had this revelatory experience in my sacred pause, which forced me at home to really think about what are the denominators to health for my autoimmune patients. So I created this tribe of autoimmune health rebels where we hold nothing back. I teach you everything from healing yoga to talking about supplements, all the tactics in functional medicine, but a lot of mindset. It's a lot of functional medicine, nutrition, mindset, physical therapy, and yoga, all of which I have advanced degrees in to help you to heal. We're highly selective though, because I realized that the importance of being around the five people. Okay. We're the average of five people we spend the most time with. And in autoimmunity, there's a lot of negative mindsets out there, especially because it's hard, you guys. But with negative mindset, it's only going to pull us down, right? So I wanted to create a safe space where we can elevate each other. So if you're interested, you can apply to come into our group called the Tribe of Autoimmune Health Rebels, but you must answer those three questions that are asked. They're simple ask questions because there's a lot of spammers and we wanted to protect our group to make it quality for as long as we can. I show up there on a regular basis pretty much every day. So if you're interested, please go head on over there to Facebook group so that you can be part of this tribe. And otherwise, if you wanted to know a little bit more about our whole protocol, which is called the alkaline health transformation. It's a 6-month program where it's all about the detox. It's all about movement, using movement, and then also redefining your mindset to really heal with a lot of accountability coaching. It's the gap we have where you don't have to piecemeal together all the information. It's a comprehensive program to make sure you've got everything that you need, and it's an amazing program. Super proud to work with my patients in there. If you like this message, please, please, please leave us a review on iTunes. It makes such a difference in reaching those who need the empowering message. I want to just take the moment to thank you so much for tuning in. Remember to email us at info@lupusrebel.com to see if you can get a free consult or request one. Otherwise, go ahead and join me in our Tribe of Autoimmune Health Rebels, a free Facebook group in Facebook. So, with that, I hope you guys all have a happy Sunday. I came live today because we've got a full day tomorrow, and I will see you guys all next week. Thank you so much.